desires to use weaponry against U.S. citizens. There's that famous day in Washington, D.C. when the president wanted to walk across the ground.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Laz Jr. Thanks for tuning in on my channel. I would gladly appreciate it if you like, share, and subscribe. Obviously, something's going on in LA. It's they have been protesting for the past 3 days, and people have been getting hurt from what I can see. It's been vandalizing police cars. It's pretty bad, and let's just get right into it.
To the church through Lafayette Park to the nearby church there, and wanted U.S. troops to be on the ground to shoot at the legs of demonstrators who were outside the White House. And so he has expressed a desire to fire upon using U.S. military means against U.S. citizens, which would be wildly against anything written in our Constitution and our laws. And again, now there is an open threat from the President of the United States and the Secretary of Defense to do exactly that, using an insurrection act that looks like it does not have the grounds to be used here. I'm sure there will some that will call this an insurrection, but we're talking legal grounds. Does the president, in this instance, have the legal grounds to declare this an insurrection against the United States and deploy U.S. military troops against U.S. citizens, which is strictly forbidden by the U.S. Constitution?
It will be really interesting to see how this is all going to unfold, if that's going to happen. Looking back outside, live back at downtown LA, we have that aerial view, and still showing the protesters going strong. 7:04 this evening. There is some good news here. You can see on the screen, so that looks like a live picture. So the fire department is there. We had those 3 Waymo cars on fire, and we had 5 Waymo cars, on fire. And it looks like from that white smoke, they have taken care of that. So that was successful. Let's just hope that we don't see any more EV fires like what we saw there, anything else that the fire department has to get involved. But what is this? We're seeing some more.
This is the remnants of the Waymos.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow.
Right. Nothing left but all the plastic is now melted. A lot of the metal is likely melted as well. That's something we observed in the fires in January, is that these things can get so hot that it just starts melting the aluminum and the metals therein. There was actually an alert sent out by the LAPD today warning about the air quality because of these fires. It says that from LAPD Central Division, a traffic advisory to media partners, demonstrators, and others who may enter the area of Los Angeles Street north of Arcadia. Burning lithium-ion batteries release toxic gases, including hydrogen fluoride, posing risks to responders and those nearby. Please avoid this area.
Exactly. We were just talking about that a few hours ago, too. And just thinking the protesters, they did this without thinking about the consequences. Exactly. All of those toxic gases in the air. You really shouldn't be breathing in that stuff. And then looking at the remnants right now, it's still there. Those toxic fumes, they're still in the air. Tim Caputo described it as smelling like a dumpster fire. So obviously it doesn't smell good downtown. And not just that, but the air quality, that's definitely not a place that you want to be.
Right. So the governor has met with the chief of police of the LAPD and LA County Sheriff Robert Luna. We do have a picture we're working on showing you the officials gathered in Los Angeles, state emergency officials, as they say they're responding to the protest provoked by chaos from Washington. That is from the governor, provoked by chaos from Washington. The governor writing, "We're here to keep the peace, not play into Trump's political games." And we do expect to hear a press conference from the LAPD, likely from the Sheriff's Department as well. And we believe the governor will be there as well. So he is in Los Angeles tonight monitoring the situation with the chief of the LAPD, Jim McDonnell, and the sheriff, as well as other officials from around the cities. California Highway Patrol, I see. So they posted a picture. I'm just trying to see what officials are gathered here. It looks like other sheriff officials, CHP's likely there, LAPD, and I'm not sure. I highly doubt that any feds are in this meeting, given the tone and words of what the governor is saying here. Provoked by chaos from Washington, blaming this solely on President Trump and his actions, and the actions of his administration. But we will see here in less than an hour, we plan to hear from the LAPD, and we believe Governor Gavin Newsom as well.
Right. There are two men. Their backs are toward the camera. They look like they're in civilian clothes. Obviously, they're not civilians, but it makes you think, what kind of higher up law enforcement is this? They have black polos on, so it'll be interesting to see who they are. We'll see that in the next hour or so with that press conference.
Right, and all of this is playing out once again as the governor of California and the state is now in direct confrontation with the president of the United States and the federal government. The president last night ordering the federalization of 2,000 members of the California National Guard. He did so without the request or approval of the governor of California. That's how this typically works. If there's a problem, if there is a need, a governor of a state requests from the federal government assistance federalizing those troops. That did not happen here. Governor Gavin Newsom has now formally requested that the Trump administration rescind that deployment of troops. I'm reading from the governor's tweet. He calls this an unlawful deployment of troops in Los Angeles County. He says, return them to my command. That is the governor of California talking to the president of the United States and his administration, saying, return them to my command. We didn't have a problem until Trump got involved, the governor writing. This is a serious breach of state sovereignty, inflaming tensions while pulling resources from where they're actually needed. Rescind the order, return control to California.
Right. President Trump, absolutely. He bypassed Governor Newsom and he deployed those 2,000 National Guard troops. And obviously, we've seen from the protests today that definitely spiked up the anger level. It looks like it went up a notch, too. Protesters definitely upset about that.
Okay, we see that, I believe, those are the feds moving through. These are the same vehicles that, this is Homeland Security moving through the same vehicles that we saw that man try and smash the back window out with his bike over by Tim Caputo.
Yeah.
They are driving by those mounted officers who at some point we assume will likely move in on those gathered in front of
The park?
City Hall. Right,
Oh,
so
okay.
right down here, City Hall's to the right, Grand Park is to the left, the courthouse is just up and around the corner, up the hill from this location. And those Homeland Security vehicles are moving through. The LAPD with those mounted officers are holding their position, basically, I guess, letting these folks.
This has been going on for 3 days. 3 days. This is what the news people are saying. And if they can't contain this situation, right, from what I see, they have been trying to contain the situation, but think about it. 3 days? 3 days this isn't going on? They need help. My goodness gracious. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this video? Please comment. I would gladly appreciate it. What you say matter. Please be respectful to the platform. Watch what you say. And I want to know your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe. LJ. God bless.